Hello viewers and welcome to the last episode of Mechanic Brewery Season 5, where I talk about the various homebrew mechs created by the Lancer community. In today's episode, Phaon Crescent, from Smith Shimano Core Pro, by Skidar. Phaon Crescent butterfly or Physeodes phaon, is a species of butterfly that can be found in Florida, nearby states, west of New Mexico, south to Cuba and also on this one place called Cayman Islands. That's it, gotta be honest. Not every single moth or butterfly is gonna have some extremely distinct feature that makes them stand out besides how they look, so we are just gonna move on. Named after the butterfly, Phaon Crescent is a lightweight stylish frame built for those that like to flaunt their skills. Looking at its stats, Phaon Crescent is a size 1 frame with no armor but average health, alongside low repair cap, typical of SSC, plus high evasion and speed, also typical of SSC, its save target and sensor range are nothing to speak of. E-defense is just alright, its heat cap is just okay too and it has 6 base systems points. As for its traits, it has 2 of them. First, hot swap, 4 once per round. When you cut someone with melee, your next ranged attack gets more bonus damage and ignores engaged. Or, when you shoot someone, usually with a gun, your next melee attack gets more bonus damage and also temporarily has thrown 5 tag. These effects do not stack with themselves. Second, fade parry, 4 once per round. As a reaction, when you receive a melee or ranged attack, you can make corresponding contested attack roll to strike them down and make them miss you. In short, Phaon Crescent is a striker good with any attack but tech attack. You want to build your weapons as a set of combo that you can chain to maximize your damage capability. After you slash, you want to shoot, and after you shoot, you want to slash, and if you are getting attacked, show your opponent why they are having skill issue. As for its weapon mounts, you have 3, a main, a double auxiliary, and a flex. Onto its core system, Phaon Crescent has a core passive called Impulse, in which at the start of a scene, you gain an impulse dice, starting at 2, which lasts for the rest of the scene. When you make a melee or ranged attack, including contested attack rolls, you may take +1 difficulty to the rolls to style on your foe. Any successful hit increase impulse dice by 1, main successful hit increase it by 2. Weapon attacks that target more than one character like area pattern attack cannot increase the impulse dice more than once per attack. When the impulse dice reaches 6, your weapon gains reliable based on their size. If the weapon already has reliable, +1 to the value. Essentially, Phaon Crescent is the only frame I know in the current Mechanic Brewery season that will dab or T-pose on their foes repeatedly, and once they done it enough, they no longer fully miss all of their attacks. You are basically exchanging awful combat performance in first half of your fight for a better performance in the second half of the fight, and considering how much accuracy source you can gain as you level up, this shouldn't be too hard to achieve. You don't even need that many attacks to succeed, you just need only 2 main or 4 auxiliary hits to reach max impulse. As for the core power, Phaon Crescent can activate Adrenalizer Drive for quickening, in which with a protocol, for the rest of the scene, you are oozing with style. You also gain a Blitz dice, starting at 1, also, the impulse dice gains are doubled, but it resets back to 2 upon reaching 6, and this in turn increases Blitz dice by 1 each time. The Blitz dice also gives you the following effects based on its current value. At 1+, your weapons gain reliable as if your impulse dice is at 6, also your critical hits knock people down. At 3+, you gain +1 accuracy to your fade parry contested roll, and if you win, you may attack the triggering character with Overwatch as a part of the same reaction. At 5+, you may trigger both of hot swap's options individually once per round each instead of choosing one. Additionally, if you win fade parry's roll, you may teleport right next to the triggering character. In short, Phaon Crescent's core power adds onto the traits and capability of the frame even more. You just plain got better at fighting. Your allies might have some galaxy brain strategy that will win you the mission easily, but you can pretty much just go nice strategy, but skill solution. As for the rest of the license, you get Phase Magnum and Lunar Arc in the first section. Phase Magnum, comes in single or double, is a auxiliary cannon with very short range and comes in 2 firing mode, standard which just deals 1d3 damage, and double tap, which not just let you roll 2 attacks at once at 1 or 2 targets, but you also gain AP. However, you need to reload the gun afterward to fire it again, so make it counts. Though considering the AP bonus, I think it's just plain better to fire it in double tap mode constantly. Auxiliary weapon with AP is just good. Lunar Arc, in the name of the moon I will pile drive you, 4 once per round. When you ram a hostile character, you can ram them straight up by 3 spaces. If you do so, you can teleport upward with them, Both of you fall at the end of your turn, but you don't take any damage. However, while your target is prone as a result of getting rammed with Lunar Arc, allied character takes +1 difficulty to attack against the target. Other applications of prone remove this penalty. So, what the heck does that means? It means that Lunar Arc is a kinda selfish system that also kinda works as a better siege ram in a way, as you can deal 3 AP damage this way. However, your allies don't get to benefit from prone accuracy onto the targets. This is cancelled when you knock them prone again through other ways, but there's still a benefit to this, as due to the fact that you are ramming them backward and upward, you can have your target land right on top of a cover they were previously hiding behind, and thus your allies still get a better shots on them anyway. Aside from Phaon Crescent frame itself, you get Unreality Blade and Blitz Weave Augmentation in the second section. Unreality Blade, cut what you see, is a very normal main melee with very short threat and decent damage for a main, plus a limited 4 tag. Attacking with this weapon normally don't expend a limited charge, but attacking with this weapon abnormally will, as you can expend a charge to cut someone at range 10. Oh, this is the Moonlight Sword. You can choose if that attack counts as melee or ranged attack, but the attack still respects cover as if it's ranged. This weapon is still a valid target for destruction even when it has no limited charges remaining. This is just a fancy sword that can occasionally cut people from afar, nothing too special, but it works well. Blitz Weave Augmentation, when the need for speed is overwhelming, the first time you use the system in a scene does not expend a limited charge, of which the systems has 2 of, for once per round after making an attack. For 2 heat, you may expend a charge to teleport to and then attack the same target with all main and auxiliary weapons on one of your mount for half damage. This system is a valid target for destruction even when it has no limited charges remaining. I know what you are thinking, this sounds like a poor managura, and you are technically correct. It's not a lot of damage either, but you can think of this as a last-ditch effort to add slightly more damage onto a target, especially when they are at a sliver of health, or you want to inflict some status effects onto them just before next turn. Either way, this is still quite useful. In the final section, you get Hard Light Doppelganger and Eclipse of the Midnight Void. Hard Light Doppelganger, this is a Warframe reference, isn't it? Is an AI systems that can be activated with a protocol and 1 heat. You project a hard light doppelganger of yourself either right next to you or another character within sensors that lasts until the start of your next turn. This doppelganger is immune to anything and you can move it up to your speed on your turn. Obstruction still stops it as normal. When you make an attack, if it hits, you may make a ranged attack through the doppelganger to also shoot at the guy you just attacked automatically without missing, if they are within range 5 for 1 AP kinetic and knock them back by 1, or if they are adjacent to the doppelganger, this becomes a melee attack and deals knockback 2 instead. Attack made with the doppelganger cannot deal bonus damage more than once per round, and since this thing isn't a full NHP, it can't cascade. In a way, this is kinda like the assassin drone, a source for extra damage, but this one costs basically nothing but 1 heat per round, and honestly, the damage probably matters less than the knockback, allowing you to reposition your target, possibly out of cover or into some mines. And finally, Eclipse of the Midnight Void, final slash into the night, for once per scene when you stabilize, instead of clearing heat or repairing yourself, you can just cut, making a burst 2 melee attack that ignores hidden and invisible, with +1 accuracy to each attack roll. On hit, you deal 4 kinetic damage, which cannot be reduced in any way possible. Attack rolls made with this system cannot deal bonus damage more than once per round. Just to remind you, if you use this system while stabilizing, you can still choose the rest of these options, so if you are not hurting but you want to reload your guns or clear out burns, this can be quite good if you are surrounded by enemies. And on the last sentence, what this means is that only one of the attacks you made with this can benefit from bonus damage, the rest won't, so pick a target you want to hurt the most. And that's basically it on Phaon Crescent, a frame that's practically designed for people that want to seek attentions to flaunt their elite gamer skill to those they claimed as weaklings. It's kinda a funny frame conceptually, but it is quite a practical strikers for those that like to mix up guns and blades. Anyway, this series is once again on hiatus. It has been fun writing and editing for all these homebrew frames. That's all for now and I will see you all next time. Hello there, if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell button. If you really want to support my channel, you could visit my Patreon page, or buy me some coffee, links in the description. Anyway, have a nice day.